morning, guys. It is Wednesday and I am back in that place in my freelancing schedule where I can make Wednesday like a dedicated my personal projects day, as in work on whatever I want to work on that I'm not under contract and necessarily getting paid for. You know what I mean? This is something that I was fortunate enough to be able to do last year, like last fall, because I was scheduling a lot smarter than I did for the majority of this spring. And after January, February, March, and honestly April being just a little too jam-packed, I'm really happy to just be back in this place where I have like the day in the middle of the week is kind of a free day for me to work on what I feel like working on. Of course, the flip side of that is that every day, like on Monday, when I'm working on client work, my brain is like, oh, I really want to be working on this chapter in my book, or oh man, I want to work on this YouTube script or whatever. And then now that it's Wednesday, my mind is on some client stuff I have to do tomorrow, and I'm like, maybe I should just use this time to get ahead on that. I don't know. Constantly playing that game, but whatever. Anyway, so today I'm gonna work on my book a little bit. I'll give you guys an update on that. I might pull out one of those 2 YouTube scripts or scripts for YouTube videos that I have been wanting to do for a long time, pick at that a little bit, and maybe ask you guys for some advice. And yeah, and before really like going back and forth on whether or not I even wanted to talk about this in this vlog, and honestly I don't even know if I'm going to include this in the video. We'll see what happens. I live in Texas, and something truly horrific happened in my state yesterday. I'm not going to put a content warning because I'm not going to go into details about it, but it's, you know, the same tragedy that we keep seeing play out over and over again. And every time something like this happens, which just, I mean, let's be real, for the past several years, it's felt like every day there's a new trash fire in this country and in the world to talk about. And I'm like, oh, should I talk about this in my vlog? And sometimes I do. And frequently I try to like leave links that might be helpful in the description or in the comments below. But I don't know. I can't, this particular incident, as a former public school teacher and as a, you know, my husband is still a public school teacher, and the ages of the people involved in this incident just makes it extra difficult for me to talk about. And then you get into that place of like fear of like, if I don't say something, do people assume that means I don't care? If I just film this like lighthearted day in my life vlog, like I don't give a crap about what happened, kind of fear. And it doesn't hurt that, I mean, this has been going on forever, that there are people out there on the internet who call out people for not talking about things that are going on, and, you know, not taking into account the fact that maybe people haven't heard about it yet because there's a lot going on all the time. You might not even know what I'm talking about right now, and that's okay. Maybe they did hear about it, but they kind of like want to get their heads around it, and maybe that might take a few days or even weeks before they like put their opinion out there on the internet for the world. And I don't know, the call out thing has always bothered me well before I joined YouTube, back when I was still on Twitter, which was like pre-2016. The calling out of people for not talking about a thing has never sat well with me, because you just don't know why they're not talking about it, you know? Wow, this is such a ramble. Anyway, please don't assume that because I'm not talking about certain things, it doesn't mean that I don't care. I guess that's all I'm asking. And the other thing is that I know for me personally, just like as a viewer, I like to be in control of what content I am consuming. Like I keep up to date with the news and what's going on in the world as best I can. And I manage that by picking and choosing the sources I read or watch, and when I read or watch them, to just like manage my mental state, you know what I mean? So when I say go to YouTube and I click on a video of a creator I like who, you know, knits, I'm just gonna make something up, like whatever, something that has nothing to do with just like knitting or cooking or whatever, and they start the video with like, or they have a whole video that just comes out and I click on it thinking, yay, this creator, and then the whole thing is like about the current trash fire that I have just spent a few hours consuming news about, and now I'm trying to like escape it and give my brain a break. I'm like, ugh, no ill feelings towards the creator. People, get out there and say what you want to say. Like, use your platforms the way you want to use them. But for me, I click off because it's like I've already taken in as much of that as I can take for now. Anyway, wow, yeah, this is a ramble. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess I'm trying to say maybe my videos are that kind of escape for some of you, and you're not coming here to learn Michelle's opinions on the world or whatever. You're here to listen to an author talk about writing books, right? and that's what I want to keep this to. So yeah, anyway, still not sure if I'm going to include this in the blog, but we'll see. So I have no idea what I want to work on first today. I guess I'm going to try working on my book a little bit. I am in a chapter. I've been kind of, I don't want to say stuck, it's just that I've been doing my write at least one sentence every day thing on this book for a while, so I feel like I've been in the same chapter for a long time, but that's because I barely write a few hundred words on it every day, you know? And, you know, it would be kind of cool if I could finish that chapter today and move on to the next one. No idea where my word count is. No, that's a lie. It's got to be somewhere between 23 and 2,500 words, but I've been deliberately not looking at the word count because I know where I am in the plot. I know just how far away the midpoint is. And when I think about what the final word count of this book is probably going to be, it makes me feel a little bit stressed because I'm a middle grade author. And this is like writing 2 to 3 middle grade books. It's just a big word count. It's not too big for an adult mystery thriller. I think it's going to be right on point, but it's just not something that I am used to. So I'm just not looking at the word count anymore when I use Scrivener. I don't check it. I don't use the little tracker. I just write until I'm done writing. And then I close it, and then I open it up the next day and I write until I'm done writing. So anyway, yeah, I think I'll just start by working on that chapter a little bit and let's see how that goes. So I've decided to do little sprints, you know, get up and walk around like I'm doing laundry. So like switch the clothes over from the washer to the dryer in between sprints. And I have to say that the one thing that vlogging has already helped me with today is that it's got me working at my desk, because confession, for the last few weeks, most of the time that I spend working at my desk is when I have a call with a client, which I have, you know, like 2 to 3 or maybe sometimes 4 a week. And I'll be with them on the call, and then since I'm already set up here, I'll work at my desk for a while after that. But on days when I don't have a client call, I've been working in bed. Don't know why, that's just been a thing lately, and I've been getting the stuff done that I need to get done, so it's not like I'm not productive, but I did just in that very first 10-minute sprint get a good burst of words out. I'm not counting, I refuse to track it, but I'm just looking at the page, it's like, oh yeah, I just got through a big chunk of a scene in 10 minutes, so I think sitting at the desk really helps a lot. I should probably do this more often. What is this? What is this sit? You're such a lady. How long can we stare at each other, Rosa? Apparently, a long time. Okay, so I didn't quite get to the end of this chapter because I kind of hit a point where I just decided it was a good natural place to work in a little more of this character's backstory than I had originally intended. Like I've said before, this is a multi-POV book. There are so many POVs, I don't even want to think about how many at this point. I'm not going to think about it. And this chapter I'm writing is actually this person's first POV scene. They're not going to get a whole lot throughout the book, and maybe that's why I thought, you know, I should go ahead and like give a little backstory here. So I'm really happy with what I got. It was actually like a big, like, grief is part of her backstory, and it felt kind of good to just vent some feelings of my own a little bit in hers. And the ending of this chapter is actually one of the few things that has been preserved from the very first draft I wrote of this from NaNoWriMo. I just really, really like, there's a moment at the end of this scene that I love and definitely is not going to change in any version of this story. And I'm really looking forward to writing it. So I think that's actually a good place for me to stop now because it's getting close to time to take another walk. And if I am excited to write this next part for my next writing session, it's going to be a lot easier to sit down and open the document. So I don't know if I want to work on this more this afternoon or if I want to work on maybe one of my scripts for one of my videos, like that multi-POV course that I told you guys I taught. I want to do some editing to that script because I learned a lot from teaching that course that I want to implement, and then I want to put it up on YouTube, but like it's going to be a long video and I don't know, I might want to pick at that later. Maybe I'll go back to this book. I don't know. Let's take a walk and take a break and think about it for a little bit. Okay, so that was like incredibly productive. I got back from our walk, I had some lunch and came in here to work in bed. I was just, it's gloomy outside today, guys. That's how I was feeling. And I opened the documents both for the writing course, the multi-POV development course, and also, that's cute. Okay. And also the scammy writing courses, kind of half-written script that I had started a long time ago. And I picked at both, and then I realized I was just kind of feeling the scammy writer courses thing a little bit more. So I dove into that and just steadily wrote for, I think, probably over 45 minutes and got like almost 4 pages, like 4 single-spaced pages of script. I went off. I kind of remembered what inspired me to make that, like what inspired that video idea literally a year ago when I first had it. And as I will explain in the video, no, it was not a particular writing course out there that I think is a scam. It's actually more about me and how I feel like I almost made a course that was a scam. Full story to come in the video. And it's really just about not just writing courses, but like online courses in general. And what I would like to know, actually, I would love your help and your input on this, because I'm starting, like, what I scripted today is just this big kind of story about how I almost fell into the trap of creating what I would now consider to be a scammy writing course. And how I got, why I realized that was what was happening and why I stopped doing it. And then I want to end like the second half of the video to be more like, in my opinion, here are some red flags. Not necessarily if you see this in a course description, it's a scam, but like, take a note, pay attention, this could be a scam. And I would love to know what you guys think about this topic and what your experience has been with online courses. I know I put a poll up sometime last month, and I'm going to use that poll in the video and discuss it for sure, because you guys that was the most comments I ever got on a poll. You guys had opinions, and a lot of like kind of conflicting opinions, which is good. I want to talk about this. I think there are some people out there, and I think this is valid, who think almost any online course is a scam, because you can learn pretty much anything an online course is going to teach you, you can learn for free on the internet. And I fully believe that. That is 100% true. Something I put in the script today, but I'll go ahead and say it now because this is my opinion on it, is that I do think that a part of a value for a good course is the time it saves you. Because yes, you can teach yourself how to do XYZ for free on the internet, but that's going to take you a lot of time to sift through all of the junk information and find the information you want and piece together the process and figure it out on your own. Whereas if somebody has a course that's genuinely helpful and they're like, here's how to do XYZ in 5 steps and I can teach it to you in 45 minutes, the time that's going to save you might be, in some people's opinions, worth some money. Okay, now how much money is another topic we will get into in another video, because there are some online courses out there and the prices are wild. And I say this as a teacher who believes teachers should be paid more. And that's why this whole thing is like such a weird area for me. And I went through a thing in 2020. I went through a journey with online courses, because I think teachers in general need to be paid a lot more for what they offer. I also think a lot of people who have online courses aren't good teachers. I said it. And I don't know. Yeah. So the pricing thing is just a whole other issue. And then of course there's the level of experience of the course creator. If we're talking about writing courses, then like, how experienced is this writer? How successful are they? You can have a masterclass subscription, which I think is like basically $100 a year, and have access to courses by like Shonda Rhimes and Dan Brown and all the people who are like the most successful at writing in the world. But what makes it worth, like, what makes a course by an author who isn't that successful worth it? And again, I'm just going to throw the answer into this vlog. To me, it's like one-on-one interaction between the student and the teacher. Like, those master classes are great. I love them. I've watched most of them. But obviously, Dan Brown isn't reading your work and giving you feedback on it. And in an online course that is pricier, if the instructor is like reading your work and giving you a critique on it, and like actually on a one-on-one, like with all of their students basis, like working with them and developing their books, I do think that is worth, again, a slightly higher price. I don't even know why I said slightly. The pricing thing, guys, I'm just saying that's probably worth it. That's worth the investment. Because you are getting individual feedback on your work from a professional. Again, there's just a lot more to it. I'm not going to give away the entire video here. I just really want to hear your thoughts. I remember a comment on a video where I mentioned this several months ago, and I can't think of who left this comment, but they said something along the lines of, I really hope you don't end up just slamming the less experienced or not published writers who have courses, because like they still have something, you know, of value to share about the writing process. You don't have to be necessarily published to have something of value to share. And you know what? I actually do agree with that. I think actually, and this is gonna sound like such a plug, like such a sponsored moment. It's not. But I think that's what I kind of like about Skillshare, is that it's not like I would, and actually have watched courses which are more like workshops. They're shorter, on Skillshare by writers who are like less experienced than me, because they had like one specific thing that they figured it out how to do, and they made a video on it and put it up. And to me, it's, especially because Skillshare is like Netflix, you're paying a monthly fee, it's not that expensive, like it's totally worth it to me to go and watch that video. And I think it's perfectly valid that that writer made a little course on this one specific thing that they figured out how to do, and they're sharing it with other people. There's value to that. Should a writer who is not published charge, you know, a couple $1,000s for a course promising you to teach you how to become a best-selling author when they have not done so? That might go on my red flag list. To be continued. We'll discuss that later, but you know, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Help me out. What do you want to see in this video? What do you consider a red flag, and what do you not consider a red flag? What kind of writing course, like what would a writing course have to offer for you to think, an online writing course, sorry, for you to think that might be worth my money? I would love to hear about it, so let me know in the comments below, and I hope you guys are having as peaceful an afternoon as Rosa clearly is, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.